I'm sorry, it's happened again. In 1992, a young grad student was doing research for his thesis. Um, and he was I think he was in the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. It doesn't matter. He was in Washington going through some of these old documents, and he ran across an old piece of paper. It was obviously old. It was made in that old-fashioned parchment-looking paper. So he pulls it out, starts to read it, and because he's a history grad student, he realizes what he has in his hand, and what he has in his hand is one of those two amendments that didn't make the cut. And so he read it, and he realized, he said to himself, this, I don't know why this was rejected by the Congress way back then. This looks like it's a pretty doggone good amendment. And so he takes it back to, he's a student at the University of Texas at Austin. Of course, he can't take the paper back, but he copies it or whatever. He takes it back to his professors at UT in Austin, and they agree with him that this is a great idea. And so they begin a campaign into Congress to reintroduce this amendment in an attempt to make it a part of the Constitution. And it works. Congress likes the idea. The American people like the idea. And so this would have been the 11th Amendment, right? Had it not been kicked out. It's the 27th Amendment now. Which proves that sometimes it takes Congress a long time to do something right, but they usually get it right in the long term. Okay, here's the 27th Amendment. No law varying the compensation for the services of the senators and representatives shall take effect until an election of representatives shall have intervened. Now, what does that really say? What that says is that members of the Congress, now remember, who has the power of the purse? Congress. Congress can give presidents and vice president raises and give federal judges raises, and they can also give themselves raises. And I joked, although it's not really a joke, I'd love to have that job. Give myself a raise? Oh, yeah. The 27th Amendment prevents members of the Congress from getting greedy and awarding themselves humongous raises. Because what it says is that Congress has the right to give themselves raises, but they can't receive the raise until after the next election of members of the House of Representatives. Now, why does it say that? Well, think about it for just a moment. If the Congress votes itself a huge raise, it's going to be in the newspapers, it's going to be on the radio, it's going to be all over cable news, isn't it? The American people are going to know that they are greedy. Now, the Americans will go along with a reasonable raise, but greedy? No, no, no. We won't put up with that. And so the idea here is, yeah, go ahead and vote yourself a raise, but don't make it too big, because you're not going to get it until after the next election of U.S. representatives. And in that election, if you're too greedy, we just might kick your butt out. That is the purpose of the 27th Amendment. Folks, it's been sort of fitful today with all these accidental stops and starts, and I don't have a clue why that's happening. All I can do is apologize to you and hope that you're watching these in the proper order. Okay? Some are rather long. Some like this, or this one is going to be probably less than 5 minutes in length. But it is what it is. And so let's take lemons and make lemonade. Let's take the coronavirus and not let it get to us, and let us continue with our studies. I wish you well in the remainder of the course. I will be in contact with you with regard to dates and contest and quiz content and all those things. But for right now, this is the end of the video lectures. Thank you for your attention.